Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a really spicy Mega Kangaskhan deck with Forretress EX. We're also actually killing two birds with one stone because Forretress is a G-block Pokemon, but also this is a very spicy deck that I wanted to take a look at. So of course, as per usual, in the description below, there'll be the usual deck list and the timestamps and everything like that. The deck list is also available to copy, but there's also a timestamp for it, and of course the games that we'll play and the outro and what I think of the deck. So, the whole idea is we're going to be using Mega Kangaskhan as normal. Obviously, Rapid Fire Combo for 200 damage can do more if it flips heads until we get tails. So there is that possibility. But, you know, it's nice and all having that, but why don't we throw Forretress into the mix? So, Forretress EX is, well, it's notorious for its ability, Exploding Energy. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 5 basic energy cards, grass energy cards to be precise, and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. If you search your deck in this way, this Pokemon is knocked out. So essentially, we're blowing up the Forretress to power up potentially 2 Kangaskhan's. That's the idea. So that way we're forcing our opponent on essentially an 8 prize map. Combine that with some really spicy cards, which we'll go to that in the deck list, because I have compiled this using a few different ones. It's very interesting to say the least. But yeah, I'm looking forward to visiting this one. Obviously, we'll play 4 Mega Kangaskhan's, 2 Pinecos, and 2 Forretress, and that is it. No more Pokemon other than that. So, like I said, we can start the Pineco if we have to, but ideally we want to be starting with the Kangaskhan in the active, so then we get Run Errand draw. Obviously, Run Errand doesn't stack, so we can't use it more than once. But the simple fact is, we can at least, you know, use the Run Errand and obviously heal the Kangaskhan. We can obviously use a different card, which we'll show in the deck list. And, yeah, there's not a whole lot to this deck list, but we do have a spicy A spec in here, which you can see there, which we'll talk about in the deck list. Speaking of that, let's go to the deck list. And welcome to the deck list. So as I said, I've been compiling this off of a few different Kangaskhan with the Forretress package lists. And I think, obviously, there's a couple of changes I think that should be made in this list, but we'll talk about that once we go along. So obviously we're playing 4 Mega Kangaskhan, 2 Pinecos, 2 Forretress, 4 Ciphermaniac, which I think, personally, you can cut this down to 2. I don't think you need to play 4. We then play 4 Iono and 4 of the new Acerola's Mischief. So we can only use this card once our opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards remaining. So we choose one of our Pokemon in play. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to that Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon EX. So in other words, we don't need to play Mist Energy in here because this blocks everything. Now, it doesn't stop single prizes, so something like Okie Dokie Box is going to absolutely destroy us because it's a single prize fighting type that does weakness. Now, we do have a tech card for that in here, but we're at least, you know, we're going to be using that as an option if need be. Then we're playing 2 Boss's Orders as well. I think, personally, this is where the 2 Ciphermaniacs should go, is turn this into 4 Boss, cut the counter catches down to 3 or 2, and just add a little bit more to the list. But I haven't done that because, you know, I like to give you guys that flexibility. So then we're playing 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Counter Catcher, 4 Pokégear, 4 Picnic Basket, 4 Nest Ball, 1 Earthen Vessel, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Pal Pad, 1 Miracle Headset. I must admit I forgot this card existed, but hey, it's off the bucket list now. Put up to 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your hand. This is essentially a Pal Pad, but it puts it back into your hand. So the whole idea of this is, because we're going to be spamming Acerola in the late game, the idea is we can play Acerola 6 times, which is crazy. Technically 8 if we can find it off a Pal Pad. Then we'll play 1 copy of the Fighting Au Lait, or how the hell you say this. You can only use this card if you have more prize cards remaining in your opponent. We heal 60 from one of our Pokemon. We then have a Vit Band. This is so Kangaskhan can hit 210 without having to hit heads, which is pretty useful. Obviously, it's more for the support Pokemon that we can gust. Then 1 copy of Protective Goggles. This is our tech for the Okie Dokies and also other fighting Pokemon that, you know, have that option and everything. But that's our option for that, because obviously there is Hariyama in the, the Lucario deck. So that's something to bear in mind. So that's why we have this in here. Then we also have 1 Bravery Charm, just add a little bit more bulk. 2 Forest of Vitality, so we can essentially just get Forestresses into play. and then 8 basic grass energy. Obviously, we only need 3 for the Mega Kangaskhan's. We will not be attacking with the Forretress, that's not the point of the deck. But, you know, I know some of you may want to see me swing with Guard Press, but it's not a great attack, and plus, that's not the point of the deck. The point of Forretress is to just be an exploding bomb that then sets up our entire board. So if you're hoping to see me swing with Guard Press this episode, I'm afraid not. So, let's get into some games and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. I'm kind of looking forward to playing this deck. I've not really played it much. Like, I've done a few test games and stuff like that. It is very dumb. And you do give quite a few mulligans, but to be honest, that just adds into the strategy. Because, like, you want your opponent to go down to 1 prize. Obviously, a deck like Acerola would obviously be a problem for this deck. But, again, that's why we play 4 copies of the Acerola's Mischief. And let's put it this way, it certainly is Mischief. But I'm hoping that we can obviously avoid fighting decks as much as possible, like we can avoid Lucario and stuff like that. But if we can't, then we can deal with it. It's not the end of the world. Because like I said, we don't want to put too many Pokemon down. That's the whole part of this strategy, is we only really need 2 Kangaskhan's and a Forretress. And he's making us go first. That's fine, because we get Run, Air, and Draw. And we start the Kang. Excellent. We don't need to rush to get a Pineco in play, is the nice thing about this deck. But obviously we can put the second Kangaskhan down, continue to get Run, Air, and value, and go from there. They may think it's towards the deck. Larvitar. I think I know what deck this is. Okay, we'll quickly Run Errand. There's a Forretress, so that's at least useful. We can attach for turn to the Mega Kangaskhan, and we can pass. That just means we need to find a Pineco off a Nest Ball, or something like that. There's a Buddy Poffin. I wonder what this strategy is. I think I know what this is. I think it's the Tyranitar that item locks. What the hell is he playing? Arven. I must be right, and maybe it's like a mix with Dragapult would be my guess. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, folks. Genuinely, I don't know. There's a Larvitar, that's fine. Team Evo, he's got the Dark Energy. It's definitely that one. Okay, that's annoying, but we have the Forest in hand. That's not a problem. Maybe this is his draw engine. I don't know if he plays Dragapult to go with this, but no, this is quite interesting. I like this. But no, we have the Stadium Bump, so it's not the end of the world. There's another Iono, so that's fine. I could Ciphermaniac and get myself a Pineco, which I think is correct. And then we can grab a Counter Catcher. Well, in fact, we have a Counter Catcher in hand. So we need a Pineco. And what else do we want? We could get Vitband. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think we will. We'll just get Vitband. So then we'll Run Errand. Draw the Pineco and the Vitband. And then because we have Forest, we can immediately go into the Forretress EX. And Exploding Energy. So we need 2 on the active, 3 on the bench. And that's all we're going to bench all game. So now my opponent will take 2 prize cards. We can then Counter Catcher 100 Cloaks. I could put the Vitband here as well, because why not? And Rapid Fire combo. We don't need that many. Come on. That is severe overkill. Even he agrees. But no, that was severe overkill. That was not needed. That's 1 Jaclote down. Because like I said, I'm not too worried about the T-Tars. They're not too dangerous to us. And obviously, like I said, we will lose access to our items. But that's not that big of a deal. Because like I said, the whole point is we want to spam Acerola. So we at least have that. He might go for another, what's his face? He might go for another TM Evo, if he has the option. Obviously now our forests are not really useful, but that's not a problem, because like I said, this is literally going to be our board state for the rest of the game, folks. So, you know, that's part of the strategy. Like I say as well, I think just having extra Gust in the list instead of Ciphermaniacs would probably help. And the nice thing is, with this sort of deck, you don't need to price check. Generally, you don't need to price check. It's so nice. Rare Candy, Tyranitar, that's fine. Obviously, that's only whilst it's in the active spot. If he has a way to retreat it, then that's his. That's a good thing for him. Ultra Ball Luxurious Cape. He's trying to, like, survive. He's trying to, like, buff up his T-Tar. If we can get a boss on this, that'd be really nice. There's a Bravery Charm. We might as well put it on that one. Let's see if we can get it off the Pokégear. There's the boss. So that means we can soften this guy up. That's good. First of all, run errand. There's Acerola's Mischief. But no, we're going to boss this. And rapid fire combo. If we get 2 heads, we take a 2 prize knockout here. No, but that's okay. That's not that big of a deal. We do hit for 260 though, which is pretty good. Obviously, the reason why the Vit Band, I decided to put the Vit Band in here is because, you know, 260 is a really solid number to hit anyway. Obviously, if he gets a Dark Energy and starts cracking Stomp, that is a problem, but we can deal with that. And there's an Iono, that's completely fine with me, Chief. And what do we get off of this? Nest Ball, we can't play these items because obviously we do have the Tyranitar in the active. But no, bossing the Tyranitar was definitely the correct play. I'm not too worried about this Cloak. I've seen no evidence of Luminous Energy or anything like that. But no, I like the sort of idea my opponent's going for here, I must admit. It's a clever idea. Does he have the energy to attack with Cracking Stomp? Because that could disturb our plan, but it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, the whole point is we want to spam Acerola in the late game. I think he might be a bit angry because he's not making any actions. And yep, he's just passed. We can't use any items where we don't need to, so we'll just run errand. Okay, we don't need this Forretress, but yeah, we'll just rapid fire combo, take out the Tyranitar, take 2 prizes. Plus, as well, the Vit Band is also here for Gardevoir, because obviously we can hit potentially 310, like we just did there. And that is a 2 prize knockout, because we took the damage out, or we took it off via damage. So Luxurious Cape gives us 2 prizes. That is pretty nice. That is pretty nice. And here's the Badoo. The Badoo's not a major concern. If he sets up a 2 prizer, we can go for it with Boss. Obviously, I know some of you would probably want to see me use Guard Press. And he's like, what do I do? Recon Directive. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do, mate. This deck is designed to do this. This deck was literally built to do this job. To be, like, the Badoo would disrupt our Miracle Headset, and I would love to play it in this video, but, you know, it's kind of a shame, really. Here comes Reversal Energy, and a Brave Bangle. There's a Hilda. So Brave Bangle will get it doing 180 with Cracking Stomp. Could be an issue, but I'm not too worried. That's fine. They build a Ciphermaniac and a Nest Ball. Not a problem. To be fair, like, it is correct to just take this out, but do we Iono in the process? Because they could go down to 1 prize. But at the same time, I'm happy to, you know, retreat this Kangaskhan and bring up the fresh one, which has 350, and I think I might. So I'm going to put an energy here, retreat the Kang into the other one. Don't need to boss, so we will just rapid fire combo. We don't need to run errand. We don't need to flip until tails, but well, the game does it by default. If I was in person, I'd just say rapid fire combo for knockout, because we know it does 200 by default. Obviously that does mean that this Kangaskhan can't hit 210, which could matter, but honestly, this has been going pretty smooth so far. If he puts a 2 prizer in play that we can easily deal with, that's going to be really nice. Obviously, we can get back this grass energy. We have Night Stretchers and stuff like that. And I think there's one... No, there's no grass in deck. So that means our last prize card... Well, our last prize cards, I should say. We've got 1 grass left in the prizes. So we need to Night Stretcher this back and then attach it to this Kangaskhan. Because like I said, the Mega Kangaskhan in the active will be able to soak up hits, which is good. Now, believe it or not, this deck does actually get a buff next set. It gets... I can't remember the name of it. It's some, like, ice cream thing, and it heals 80 from a Pokemon that has 3 energy attached. So in that situation, if we had that card, I could have played it to heal his Kangaskhan. There's Counter Catcher. That's fine. Not a problem at all. He could use the Hammer-In attack with his Pupitar, but then we just spam Acerola. So if you do that, you're just falling right into my trap. And then we don't need to Night Stretcher for anything. We just spam Acerola for the rest of the game. I kind of want him to bring up this Pupitar with Hammer-In, because he could take the knockout here. Let's see what he does. I don't think he's going to be very happy when he sees this card. No, he's just going for the Itchy Pollen. Okay, interesting strategy. There's Counter Catcher. That doesn't really help us right now. Let's go for a Run Errand, see if we draw into anything good. Okay, so we'll Ciphermaniac. Because we don't play any switch outs is the only thing with this list. But I'm not too worried. Like, we can just put Acerolas on top. Because it's highly likely he's going to go for the knockout on this Kangaskhan. So we at least have that. Obviously, the main thing to worry about is obviously Pupitar can potentially keep copying this attack. We'll keep using Hammer-In, which is a concern. But it would take it 3 hits to knock out the fresh Kangaskhan. I find it weird though, like, surely he'd go for the 3 prize knockout. Maybe he knows the strategy of the deck. Maybe he knows about Acerola. There's a Recon. Okay. Yeah, we put Acerolas on top, so even if we are Iono'd and he takes this knockout, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think he realizes that Reversal covers Hammer-In's cost. There's Team Rocket's Watchtower, that's fine. Not worried about that in the slightest. That's fine, Chief. Not a problem at all. I think he's beginning the process of slow playing now. Which is disappointing, because I thought this would have been a good match, but... well, I've played as fast as I can, because I don't have many actions with this deck. Because generally you don't have many actions with this deck. Once you get down to 1 prize card, you just go Acerola, Acerola, Acerola. That's literally it. Unless they have a single prizer, which can obviously deal weakness to the Mega Kangaskhan. Yeah, he's slow playing now, 100%. 100% he's slow playing. And there we go. It appears the opponent rage quit and didn't have the courtesy to not, you know, concede. Just decided to waste more of my time, but, well, we got the win, that's the important thing. Let's go to a game 2. Welcome back. It's a shame that the first game actually had to end that way, but, well, I don't choose my opponents, do I? It's just a shame that people have to do that. See, if I was annoyed that I couldn't beat a matchup, I wouldn't waste a person's time like that. I'd just concede and go on to the next game, you know? You're going to meet these matchups where you have these frustrations, and I understand that, but... you know, we're still humans at the end of the day. We don't want to be sat here for so long. Looks like we're going first again. That's fine. I can deal with that. And there's a Mega Kangaskhan. Excellent. We love starting the Kang. I mean, it's not a problem if we start a Pineco. It's not the end of the world. And that's a Monkey Doily. Okay, that's fine. And Speak of the Devil in it shall appear. So then we'll Nest Ball. Grab a Kang. We have prize for Pineco, but I'm not really bothered. Run Errand. Attach a Grass Energy for turn. Do I want to check the deck? I kind of do. We don't. Do we need to? We don't need to Acerola now. I want to check how many grass are in the deck. That's the only major thing that I need to check. 6. That's fine. I can deal with that. I'll just grab the other Forretress and not the end of the world. And pass. Not a bad start so far. I mean, getting a grass attachment is always nice, and like I say, we can thin out majorly. Cornerstone. Okay, that is an issue for this deck. We don't have an answer to Cornerstone. And we can boss around it, but... you know, there's no guarantee we actually do that, or do that, you know. We can obviously, like, just wall off completely. It is an option in this matchup, but it does make our job a lot harder. So let's go for the Exploding Energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down goes the Forretress. Like I say, this is the only thing about this deck, is it doesn't have a way to deal with Cornerstone, like, at all, which is a concerning factor. There's Boss, but that's not going to help us, so we'll just go for the Rapid Fire combo. That's a little bit overkill on the Monkey Dory game, but you do you, I guess. If only my Mega Kangaskhan did this much damage in the Mega Kangaskhan tank video that we did a while back. But no. Yeah, this guy's going to be a problem. I mean, we can gust around it, you know, like we can do that, but, you know, it's going to be an issue, is all I'm going to say. And if he just puts down Cornerstone, then, well, there's nothing we can do. We just have to go to a game 3. There's Nest Ball. There's a Fez. We could gust that. We have Counter Catcher. He needs an energy for Demolish. I know that much. There's Mist Energy, but that's fine. And just you can attack with that, you know. Oh wait, no, he's ahead on prizes. Cornerstone doesn't do weakness, but that's fine. We'll just CC the Fez and Iono. I think this deck does need to play a way to get around Cornerstone, but it's not the end of the world. And Rapid Fire combo, hope for heads. Nice. That's the knockout on the Fez. 250, take the knockout. Yeah, this is going to be a problem now, because like I said, this Cornerstone effectively walls us off. Like, there's nothing we can do. The only thing we can do is, like, recover the... Yeah, he's just going to do this. I knew he was going to do it. Smartest thing he can do, to be honest. Let's just go to a game 3. I can't beat a Cornerstone. Unfortunate game 2 there, but, well, this deck plays no answer to a Cornerstone. Like, there's nothing you can do. The only thing you could do is start charging up the freaking Pineco and start doing 60, but that takes 4 hits. And last I checked, this deck doesn't play much in the way of recovery, so, yeah. It's unfortunate, and, you know, we are going to beat those matchups, but still, it's not the end of the world. That's just something to consider, though, like, when it comes to this deck, is... You know, consider this sort of thing. Like, you can play this list. It's very fun. And, well, as we saw, it did make some people rage. But, you know, ignore the Discord ping there. You know, it's one of those things, like, you know, you're going to run into these matchups. And there's a mulligan. Oh, we only take 1. That's fine. We start the Pineco, though, but that's not the end of the world, as I've established before. It's not the end of the world. Does mean if they have, like, early aggression, this could be an issue. Girafarig. This could be walls. Okay, there's a Kang. We'll attach an energy to the Kang. And we can Pokégear, we might as well. Ciphermaniac's pretty useful. Let's thin with Nest Ball, get another Kang, and pass the turn. Like I say, apologies for the Discord ping there. Someone, aka me, forgot to put Discord on mute, that's all. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this matchup goes, because if it is walls, it's not the end of the world. You know, like, it's not a bad thing. Xatu, Dark Energy, Badoo. He could retreat and go into Badoo. That is an option, you know. And Lilies, that's fine. Not a problem at all. And yep, he's just going to go into Badoo. Fair enough. I don't have any problem with that. Makes complete sense, because obviously I do have a 2 retreat cost. I mean, he doesn't necessarily know that. And plus, we could swing with God Press, just remember that. Let's just go for the Iono. We could even swing with Rollout if we get lucky enough. Okay, nothing off of that. That's fine. I'll just pass. Not a big deal. We can always roll out and take out the Badoom. It's always an option. You know me, folks. I do love my meme attacks. I mean, heck, winning against Mega Lucario with Latias, like that was probably one of my finest moments, I will say. Obviously, the only thing we haven't done so far is check the deck. Like, I forgot to check it with Nest Ball, because obviously grass count does matter. But still, this looks to be Hydreigon with a Giraffe again, well, Farigiraf, which makes sense, to be honest. It gives you a better time to bolt, I guess. Yeah, we can take out this Badoo with Rollout. And if we top deck Forretress, I'm doing it with Forretress. I don't care what anyone says. We'll do it with Forretress, and then at least we have, you know, the memes and stuff like that. Like, Rollout for 30 is a funny attack, but doing it with Thingy would actually be better. Ooh, he's going for Evo. Okay, okay, we could be okay here. I'm going to attach another energy to the Pineco just in case we get an Iono. Just as Zweilous. Okay, that's fine. That could be bad for him, though. There's an Ultra Ball. You know I'm going for it, folks. You know I'm going for the guard press KO. We'll do that. Attach a second energy. Pokégear. Ciphermaniac. Ciphermaniac. This is where we check now how many grass we have. We have 2 in deck. Okay, so we can only get 1 Kang charge for now. That means we've got quite a few in the prize cards. That is okay, though. We can worry about that later. So I will just take Boss off the top. Because we do hit for grass weakness. That is something to bear in fact, no. We'll do Iono, then Boss. And yeah, guard press. I had to do it. I had to do it. I'm hoping for a grass energy off the prizes here. That'd be nice. Nope, it's just a Kang. That's fine. So we've got 3 energy in the prize cards. That is an issue, but we can deal with that. But hey, I got to take a knockout with guard press. I will take it. I love these sorts of meme attacking cards, you know. Like, I just, you know, obviously I started Pineco and I was like, I'm never going to use this guard press attack. But it does take 30 less, which is actually relevant. It is actually relevant here. Now, Forretress is normally Bug and Steel, so that's why it's Grass type, for anyone that's curious. Obviously, there is no Bug type in the TCG. There just isn't one, but it's fine. We could even, because you are Grass Weak, we could Gust as Zweilous. Okay, Counter Catcher. That's fine. We can deal with that. We can most definitely deal with that, because we can go Forretress, attach to 2 energy, Night Stretcher to 3rd, and then Boss the Fez. We could do that. I'm not worried about this at all. Like, this is fine. I'm completely fine with this. We have the strategy. And to be fair, bossing Fez is actually a bad idea. We do want to boss as Zweilous. There's a Monkey Dory. That's fine. And I think it will just pass with Giraffe in the active, which is fair enough. But no, we can get out of this situation. No problem at all. Not a problem at all. And just a pass. Well, we got to do the meme attack with Forretress. But now we have to explode him. Sorry, mate. But your sacrifice will not be in vain. So before I do anything else, I'm going to run errand first. I was kind of hoping for a Vit Band there, but it's fine. So we'll Night Stretcher the grass back, so we can use that. Counter Catcher the Zweilous. And Iono. Disrupt the opponent's hand and take out that evolution. It's pretty good. And yeah, rapid fire combo. Take out the Zweilous. Well, 1 heads wasn't needed, but again, if I was in person, like I said in the previous game, well no, it was the game before that, and I was attacking someone, well, a Pokemon that had less than 200, I'd just say rapid fire combo for knockout. Not going to waste your time with dice flips and everything, because there's no point. Like, it's just a waste of people's time, you know, and I don't like to do that. But at least now we can go for the fez, which is the nice thing. Obviously, we have an Acerola in hand. There's no way for them to one-shot this Kangaskhan. There's a Crispin. That could matter. They could have Rare Candy, Hydreigon, Crispin, and start attacking. That could be an option for them. Just gotta hope they don't mill the A-Spec. We're not even playing the A-Spec all video yet. There's Farigiraf. Your basic EX. Yeah, you are a problem. You are most definitely a problem. And when we have enough Gust, it's not the end of the world, you know? Like, we do have Gust, and we do have answers. But obviously, Dirty Beam can 2-hit KO a standard Kangaskhan, which could be an issue. They could go attached to the Dino, retreat into this. But, you know. Okay, they have the switch, so they can attack with the Farigiraf, so that's fair enough. What this does mean, though, is we do need to start getting some grass energy out of the prizes, so that could be an issue for us. And just a pass. He's hoping to wall us, but it's not going to work. So, we'll Ultra Ball away the Forretress and the Picnic Basket. Fail that. Run errand. Okay, that's pretty good. But for now, we'll just boss the Fez. And rapid fire combo, we need 1 heads. Ah, that's unfortunate. We can get this later. It's not that big of a deal, but we can potentially get this later. Just gotta hope we don't really like Toro or something like that. Plus, he needs to find an energy to, you know, retreat this and then attack with this. Body Poffin fail, that's fine. He could let the Fez go down and then sit behind this. He's got the energy to retreat it. Okay, how many boss are we down? We're down 1 boss. Like I say, it's not the end of the world here. So we'll run errand to Thin and see if we can draw into our other boss. Speak of the Devil, and it shall appear. Boss the Fez. Ultra Ball, Iono, and a Counter Catcher, because we're going to go ahead on prizes here. And a rapid fire combo, take out the Fez. And then all we do is we just let our opponent, see why couldn't we add that earlier? We just let our opponent take the knockout on this Kangaskhan, and then go from there. There's our grass energy. Excellent. We needed that. So now, we actually need them to take a 3-prize KO. And we need to let them put a 2-prizer down. Because if we can do that, then we should be fine. It's interesting though, like, I literally don't see this card, and now all of a sudden people are playing it in Hydreigon of all things. I mean, it makes sense. You have to play Psychic Energy for the Hydreigon anyway. Sparkling Crystal. Okay, interesting tech. Doesn't hugely matter for Farigiraf though, because it's mostly colourless energy. There goes the Hydreigon. Beautiful card that is. But no, you need at least 1 Psychic to attack with the Farigiraf. And you also need 1 Psychic for the Hydreigon, so yeah. There's Sparkling Crystal, so they can attack with Dirty Beam, do 160, which is not a problem at all. But obviously now we need to start attaching to this Kangaskhan. I'm not bothered about this Dirty Beam, it does negligible damage to the bench anyway. That is fine. There's no point us wasting heals. We don't have a reason to. Might as well put that down, thin it out of the deck, and we'll just pass. I'm not hugely worried because, like I said, we have Acerola's Mischief. We can let them take a 3-prize KO, and we'll be fine. And obviously, if they're going to set up this Hydreigon, that could be an advantage for us. Dirty Beam for 160 again, that's fine. Pal Pad, 100% we want that. This is why I think this deck needs to play 4 boss. I don't care what anyone says. This deck needs to play 4 boss. Run errand. Or Ciphermaniac. Put both boss on the top. Obviously, we won't need boss now, but we can use Acerola's Mischief after this Kangaskhan goes down. So that's why it was critical to get those grass off the prizes. There's a Natu, that's fine. Rare Candy Hydreigon, that's fine. Again, we can CC this, so it's not a problem. And if he tries to run away with it, then again, we just attack. It's not a problem. We can take the knockout here, go down to 1, and then we just start counter-capturing this. We would need 3 heads on this. It's very unlikely we get it, but it could happen. Playing to our rats here, folks. That's the important thing. And he is starting to run out of cards in deck, so that's another good thing. I remember playing the Xatu engine with my Hydreigon list. I need to work on a new Hydreigon list. It's a fun card. It's just not very well respected right now. Body Poffin. They've gone for a lot of resources, multiple energy. You know, I won't be surprised if there's no metal energy left in deck for this Hydreigon. But they will take a 3-prize KO here, which is fine. They're going for the retreat. Interesting. Did they have counter gain? And even then, counter gain wouldn't do it. Are they going to try and mill? Is that maybe a thing? They're going to go for Crushing Headbutt. Okay, that's fine. And Crushing Headbutt. Oh, you are joking me! Okay, that's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not the end of the world, but that is very, very annoying. I'm just going to do that because I'm like, bro. Milling my bosses. Like, come on, man. Right, Acerola. And Rapid Fire. Let's see if we can get the knockout. 1 heads. 2 heads. Okay, 2. I'll take it. That's 300 damage. That is 300 damage. So now all we need to do is CC this, and then we win. So now he's probably reading Acerola, which is funny. Now he can still use the effect of Crushing Headbutt to discard the top 3. He can still do that, but then he just loses. So there's Arven, so no hand disruption. That's good. Super Rod and an Air Balloon. That's fine. I've got 16 hand, mate. This is a really creative Hydreigon list, I will say. Really creative. And what's he going to retreat? He's probably going to retreat into this Farigiraf. Still has to get rid of an energy though, but that's fine for him. And yep, into the Farigiraf. He has no hand disruption because after all, we've not taken prizes this turn. He took prizes last turn. So we have game with Counter Catcher. But yeah, I think this deck needs to play full boss. I'm just going to say that straight away. This deck needs to play full boss. Like, just maximum gust. Maximum gust, maximum everything. And well, I'm not going to waste this guy's time. I'm just going to show the CC for the Hydreigon and Rapid Fire combo for game. And of course, again, this is where I do the courteous thing, but I don't get to choose to stop the effect. It does it, of course. Would have been nice to have had that on the first time round, but it's fine. That is game. Well done, Kangaskhan. That was good. I thought that was going to get a bit shaky because of the Farigiraf, but you put the Hydreigon down, so that was at least something. But we had the option there. Alright, that is Mega Kangaskhan with the Forretress, and we even got to attack with the Forretress, which is always nice. Always nice to have that sort of meme attack and everything like that. If you just skipped ahead to the outro and you want to know what game it was game 3 where we did that. So make sure to check that out if you want to see Forretress taking a swing. But anyway, what did I think of the deck? This deck is very fun and very disgusting once you get the game plan going. It's a very simple game plan to get going, because at the end of the day you just need 2 Kangs and a Forretress. You blow up the Forretress, you let them go down to 4 prizes, you let them... Well, obviously, you ideally don't want to let them, but you can if you want. You can obviously let them go down to 1 prize, and then just start destroying them with Acerola. As that opponent saw at the end there, he had no options. He could mill, but then he's leaving his critically damaged Hydreigon in the active, and, well, he played no hand disruption, he played an Arven for turn, so we was able to CC the Hydreigon for game. But yeah, I think in terms of improvement, I think this deck doesn't really need a lot. I think personally, it does need 4 boss. Like having the bosses milled after we just Pal Padded them in was quite annoying, but it's just how the Hydreigon goes, I guess. But honestly, this has been a very fun deck to play, and honestly, if I had the Fortresses, I think I have one, but I know I don't have any Pinecos. If I had one, I'd probably take it to locals. Obviously, it would lose hard to Gardevoir. That's one of the main things about this. It would probably lose quite hard to Gardevoir, because Gardevoir can just constantly Monkey Dory ping, which, you know, that is an effect of an ability. It's not an effect of an attack. So they can still, well, I say sort of, they can still get around it per se. But honestly, this deck is a lot of fun, and I might even build it IRL myself if I can get copies of each card. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Mega Kang with Forretress, and I'll see you next time.